So this video was an idea presented to me by this commenter, unknown, who commented on my Japan versus France video. Go check it out, it's really good. Essentially, he wondered if I would do a prediction video for Japan versus England. In the end, I decided to do a video predicting Japan's starting formation for the upcoming match. Anyways, if unknown happens to be watching this, thank you for the video suggestion. I really hope you enjoy this. And if people have any other ideas and topics they want me to do, just drop them down in the comment section and I'll gladly do them. But before I begin, I just want to say that any artwork or animations I use in the thumbnail and video does not belong to me. Links to the creators' channels and pages will be in the description below, so please go and support them. With that out of the way, let's get started by first establishing the core playstyle of England's team. Alright, whilst I think England will primarily be a defensive team, there's a strong argument for them also being a hyper offensive one. In chapter 153, Eagle described England as a league known for their speed and rushing abilities, with goals being stolen through brute force, with physical capabilities reigning supreme. We saw this with players like Adam Blake, Chris Prince, Augie, and now Teddy Knight. In chapter 352, he quickly took the ball and made fools out of Aiku, Ryu, and Nico. And these are our defensive walls, by the way. Aiku, who keeps touching nothing but air. Ryu, who is just there to look good, incapable of actually touching the ball. And finally, Nico, who, whilst being a good player, is only relevant for the first half of the match. Fam, I'm generally here to tell you right now that if it wasn't for the plot, we would be cooked. Now, when I look at the end result for England's games against France and Nigeria, I predict that they are perfectly balanced offensively and defensively. For instance, they conceded only 2 goals against France, which is impressive when that team has Hugo, Charles, and Loki. The score was 1-1 until the final minute when Loki used Godspeed to score the winning goal. Now, I don't know if France wasn't taking things seriously in a similar manner to how they treated Japan. However, when you have 3 people who could have scored, you have to wonder if England was really that strong in order to hold them off. And apparently they are, because in the process of writing this script, I've just read chapter 352, and Teddy Knight has already shown Japan that there's levels to this shit. Now, having watched Hirio's chapter review, he states that in the English translation, Teddy is a wingback, but in Japanese, he's said to be a winger. Now, having done some research, and by research, I mean a simple Google search, wingbacks are the wide players in formations that use a back 3, such as a 3-5-2, a 3-4-3, and a 3-4-1-2. When defending, the wingbacks drop back either side of the 3 center backs to form a back 5. When attacking, they move into the midfield line or even further forward to provide their team's attacking width. With this information, England seems to be a team that can easily switch between offense and defense when needed. They also seem to be a team filled with players like Teddy who have intense speed and stamina as well as great dribbling. This explains the 2-1 score in the France game, as 1, England has a new Gen 11 who can probably keep up with Loki due to his speed whilst offering great defense, and 2, based on his dialogue and mannerisms, he seems like a genius, and geniuses are known for keeping up with each other. Now, I think for many, England having a new Gen 11 was quite obvious, but I want to add on to this as I hope we actually get 2 new Gen 11 wingbacks for England. Strangely enough, I want them to be twins, like a cooler version of the Wanama twins. Since wingbacks are said to be used in formations with 3 center backs, then having a wingback duo would be cool. This second wingback could be who Teddy refers to as Fox. Because Teddy seems like a genius, Fox could be a talented learner. This duo could be one that mirrors Nagi and Rayo back in season 1, where Rayo, in this case Fox, pulls the strings and Nagi, in this case Teddy, follows his lead. This is reinforced by Teddy calling himself a worthless puppet. Arguably, Nagi was Rayo's puppet during the first selection. If this is true, then the 2-1 score in the France game makes sense, as you would have Fox versus Hugo, two talented learners, compared to Loki versus Teddy, two geniuses. England were most likely the only group in Group A that could challenge France, but in the end, Loki showed himself to be the superior New Gen 11 by scoring 2 goals. So whilst the France game serves as evidence for their strong defense, the Nigeria game proved their offensive potential. They scored 5 goals against Nigeria, and I feel so bad for them, by the way. First you lose to Japan, then England, and now you gotta face France. That is so unfair. And they only conceded 1 goal, and good job Anazi for scoring that one. Now since my prediction relies on England only having new Gen 11 winbacks, a new Gen 11 striker is not possible. Besides, we already have 3 of those. Their striker may be pretty competent though. Given the fact that England is a team that thrives on brute force, this final score against Nigeria shouldn't be surprising. Agi probably scored, 1 or 2 of those goals, and perhaps Teddy and maybe this Fox person scored some as well. But either way, this team seems to be well rounded. Additionally, Kaneshiro seems to be showcasing Japan and England to be tied in ability, somewhat. Both teams have 3 points, having won against Nigeria but lost against France. Japan is quite the offensive team as their defense is hot garbage. Aiku, I'm talking to you. So I can imagine an intense clash between the two teams. Yet both teams may have a slight advantage over the other. England conceded, 2 goals against France and scored 1 goal, whereas Japan conceded 4 and scored 2. But the only reason why they scored 2 in the first place was because Karasu embodies Hugo's suitability playstyle. If they didn't do that, then the score would have been 4-0. And the fact that they conceded 4 goals whilst England only conceded 2 tells you that England has better defense. However, Japan effortlessly won against Nigeria, conceding no goals, whereas England conceded 1 against them. Nigeria is unfortunately the weakest team in this group, yet they probably scored against England and almost did against Japan because Onagi was embodying Blue Lock's ego playstyle. Perhaps I'm looking too much into these scores, but England seems strong enough to hold off France but weak enough to let Nigeria score on them, whereas Japan was strong enough to overwhelm Nigeria but weak enough to be overwhelmed by France. So what am I saying amongst all this yapping? Well, honestly, I don't know, but England is no team to laugh at, and Japan is going to need both strong offensive and defensive players if they want to win this game. Thus, having, established the structure for the England team, we now need to construct a suitable Japan team to counteract them. So since England is most likely going to be a powerhouse, at least I hope so, Japan has to step it up. They can't do that nonsense they did against France, where they used the same formation they had in the Nigeria game. Of course, that won't happen due to Rin being subbed off, and I am so happy about that you don't even know how happy I am about that. You really don't know. Thus, that begs the question, who will replace Rin? Moreover, who will be part of the starting 11 to combat the brute force of England? Well, in this section of the video, I will give you possible starters as well as subs who can help Japan secure a victory. Now, to be honest with you, I have no knowledge of football tactics. I'm a total noob when it comes to this side of the sport, so I can't tell you what the best formation will be. All I can tell you is the players that are either guaranteed to play in the starting lineup or be subbed on, as well as give you some insight into what I'm thinking. Also, having done some tiny research, I could try and give you a formation, but I won't be surprised if you say this formation is terrible. Apparently, a 4-3-3 formation consisting of two center backs, as well as one left back and one right back, three midfielders, two wingers, and one striker is capable of combating a 3-5-2 formation. As stated previously, wingbacks are normally used in the latter formation. So I'll pick my players for a 4-3-3 system, assuming that England is using the 3-5-2 system. Now again, I'm not a football expert, so don't take my word for it. But Blue Lock and this World Cup has encouraged me to experiment a little. Now, the 4-3-3 formation emphasizes player connections, providing each player with numerous passing options. The spaces of each player are linked to those of their teammates. To facilitate these connections, the system organizes players rationally across the field, ensuring optimal depth and width, two key elements that enhance ball circulation. Moreover, it ensures a rational occupation of space, allowing players to position themselves efficiently on the field. Additionally, with three players in central positions and the ability to create width and depth through the wingers, this formation provides various tactical options involving the attacking midfielders, strikers, and fullbacks. Furthermore, the 4-3-3 enables teams to close down the opponent's game on the flanks by creating numerical superiority, while also making high pressing more effective compared to the 4-4-2 formation. Now, if you didn't understand half of that, don't worry, I'm in the same boat as you, but let's figure it out with our players. Firstly, Gagamaro shall be our goalkeeper. Even if he had a terrible performance against France, he is still our best goalkeeper. I mean, who do you want to have instead? Fukaku? This is no time for jokes, okay? Now, onto defense. For our center backs, we have Ryu and Aiku. Unfortunately, Ryu is known as the ghost of Japan who would rather celebrate someone else's goal than defend. But due to his height and size, he will be needed, especially when facing off against Augie. Next up is Aiku. His jumping ability and physicality will be needed to combat England's strikers. I just need him to actually lock in and defend on the pitch instead of inside the locker room. And after reading chapter 352, Aiku needs to justify himself being the captain of Japan's team, because why are you letting a guy named Eddie embarrass you like this? Explain that to me. Now fullbacks move closer to the center backs, creating multiple playmaking options, such as diagonal crosses to the wingers, passes inside to an advanced midfielder, or passes back to the center back, which are key for breaking down tight defenses. A critical aspect of overcoming the 3-5-2 is recognizing pressing triggers, whether it is a midfielder or a wingback leading the press. So the one word that repeats in this sentence is pass. So in these positions, we need someone that can send long, crucial passes to the midfielders or wingers. So our left fullback will be Chigiri. I know Ego doesn't play him on this side of the pitch, but he's capable of sending long curved passes up the field. I also think that if we were to send the ball to Jigiri, he can quickly run up the pitch to either score a goal himself or pass it to a midfielder, winger, or striker. Now, if he does that, that could leave us at a disadvantage as there will be an open space, but one of our midfielders could quickly drop down to defend, or he and the left winger could quickly switch when the situation calls for it. Only someone of good speed and stamina is capable of doing this, and that's Jigiri. Yet you might also argue that he could play as one of our wingers, especially since he did that in Manshine, I think, so that is also an option. But for now, I have him as a left back. Our right back will be Hiyori, as he too can send excellent passes. He can link up with Karasu, who I'll get to in a minute, and his metavision is great for making defensive plays. Now, according to buildlineup.com, the midfielders in this position are known as technical midfielders, with each of them having a different role: the defender, the controller, and the creator. For our defensive midfielder, I want it to be Kunigami. He does quite well in this position, especially given the fact that in the France game he acted as Blue Lock's defensive tank. The controller in this case will be Reo Mikage. I think mainly because he's a very balanced player and he can perhaps control the tempo of the game. Whereas the creator will be Karasu, as he was creating a lot of chances for Blue Lock in the France game, leading to Hiyori and Shido scoring. Now for our wingers, I think Batra can be the left winger and Isagi can be the right winger. Batra is here because he was targeted by Teddy for some reason. The author may give them some sort of rivalry. Also, him and Isagi work well together, and he could send passes to Shido while also aiming for his own goals. Isagi is here because 1. He would most likely work as a shadow striker that goes for his own goal. This would work well as part of his rebel mentality, where he rebels both against the number 1 player on his team, which would be the center forward, and the number 1 player on England's team. Now, the center forward or the main striker will be Shido, as 1. Baro already got his time to shine, and 2. He needs a game where he gets to be the main focus, as it's been a while since he's gotten some development. Now, a variation for the 4-3-3 system is the 4-2-3-1. We still have 4 defenders, but we will have 2 defensive midfielders, 3 attacking midfielders, and a striker. The players in this formation will be the same, but Kunigami and Karasu will be the defensive midfielders, whilst Reo operates as an attacking midfielder on the right, Batra on the left, and Isagi in the middle behind Shido to act as a shadow striker. This team formation is based on speed, intellect, physical strength, and brutality. I need players that can win physical duels, outsmart their opponents, while also utilizing speed to overpower them and score a lot of goals. In this game, I need players at peak performance. I need Chigiri to step it up, as this game is crucial for him. I do not need him to be subbed off. Shido is a physical powerhouse, so I need him to overwhelm players and score goals. The same goes for Kunigami. Do the same thing you did against Shido in the PXG game to other players. Now for substitutions, I know that we are only allowed 5 players. The players I've chosen are capable of either great speed, defense, and dribbling. As a substitute for Hiyori, I have Zantetsu. I need both him and Chigiri to put in work as they allow for the ball to quickly move up the field. As a substitute for Kunigami, you could have Raichi. He's great for locking down dangerous players like Snuffy and Onazi. A substitute for Shido could be Baro or Rin. A substitute for Batra could be Yukimiya due to his dribbling. And I have a hunch that he'll be involved in this game somehow. Kurona could be another substitution. He's known for his speed as well, and he can link up perfectly with Isagi. So maybe you can put Kurona in the midfielder position. But yeah, that's my attempt at a starting 11. I also want to move on into who will score, these goals. I would prefer if the final score was 5-4 or 4-3. Make the game go neck and neck. Emphasize how this match is the one that decides who will go home. Both England and Japan have no intentions of losing. It's even worse for Japan as a tie will not help them here. So it's go big or go home. Now for England's side, I would like for Augie to score 1 or 2 goals. I expect Teddy to score a goal as well, and maybe this Fox person. As for Japan, I want Shido to score, as well as Chigiri, possibly Kunigami, and also Isagi. Additionally, Isagi did say that Rin should be Japan's final piece to win against England, so Rin will probably score too. Batra could also be a scoring option, as the story may put him at odds with Teddy, given that small interaction in chapter 352. Another scoring option could be Rail, only due to the fact that he played for England in the NEL and will most likely face Augie. But yeah, those are my thoughts for Japan's formation, who will score, as well as, understanding England's team. If you enjoyed this video, then like, comment, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out this video where I established the pros and cons of Japan versus France and how to improve said game. and be sure to look out for new videos coming soon on this channel. With all that being said, thanks for watching.